You are watching an MLGA Network live broadcast. The only people for me are the mad ones.
The world is filled with the boring and the barely conscious.
The misery loves company.
But we don't have to live this way.
Jessica and I are here to talk to those the system rejects, to radicals and thought criminals.
The ones who never yawn or say a commonplace thing, but push the boundaries of acceptable discourse.
Those who stare reality in the face and dare it to be different.
History isn't made by the timid, and fun is not had by the perpetually afraid.
We are the mad ones.
So let's get to it.
Welcome to the Mad Ones. I'm your not interested in sitting down to watch a 4-hour Zack Snyder superhero movie host, Cam Harless. And with me, as always, is our not interested in any superhero movies whatsoever. Please give her some human stories, for God's sake, hostess, Miss Jessica Green.
Hello. That's such
doing?
a wonderful intro. It captures me so well. Thank you.
It was a mouthful is what that was. But, sometimes you just got to go for it. And I know right now that Ryan is sitting there on the ticker going, but Zack Snyder's Justice League was a fantastic movie. It's worth every minute of those 4 hours. I know that he's just thinking it and see.
He was considering how to get his revenge with the ticker.
So joining us tonight, this has nothing to do with Zack Snyder and everything that he does that I'm not a huge fan of. Actually, tonight we are joined by the man who brought you the immaculate wood chipper go burr, the meme father at the height of the cuties scandal, a Minecraft assassin, a dude who drinks his scotch out of grenades, a top-notch follow on Twitter, and a man of ska in the age of WAP, Mr. AlexONE, aka Acid Drop. How you doing, buddy?
What up? Sorry, hold on. He was passing me the blunt just as soon as you introduced me. What up, Cam? What up, Jessica? What up, Ryan? And all of the people that watch him. Nice to be here.
So
Glad to have you, sir.
I
How you like
Jessica,
that intro? What?
Did you? How'd you like it? You like the intro? I try to
It was
get as
fantastic.
many words as possible in to describe someone.
It was broad yet concise, dude. I don't know how the fuck you do it.
It's magic. It's magic is what it is. What's funny is
Go
we've been
figure.
talking about doing this for several months because I saw your video on Twitter, not YouTube, of the song Wood Chipper Goes Burr, and it like I said in the intro, it happened right around the time of the Cuties Netflix scandal stuff, and it was just so perfectly timed. And you were just saying that wasn't the plan.
Yeah, no, like strangely enough, it's like one of those weird things that song had nothing at all to do with cuties. Like I was bored, like working from home that day. I think I was even off that day, and I just I read a story about a pedophile. I'm like, oh, that made me fucking mad, and I just wrote a story about killing pedophile, and it actually had nothing to do with that likely horrible film Cuties that I will not see.
Right.
So it was like a natural muse that came out of your hatred for pedophiles. Like organic.
I mean, it's always been in the zeitgeist. You like to think,
Right.
But when I told,
well, you clearly touched on something.
Yeah. And what's
Dude,
funny is
I was gonna say the wildest thing about that, right, is the day or two that it was actually I had first blown up, like Dana Lash, like from fucking the NRA or whatever, like liked it, and I was like, Dana Lash saw this fucking shit, like it's wild, man.
the only connection I have to Dana Lash is that I'm blocked by her on Twitter because I said that the NRA is milquetoast on gun rights.
Well, yeah, that'll do it.
I
got blocked by Liberty Hangout.
Oh, well, that's a feather in your cap.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What'd you say? Any normal thing?
Yeah. I think I existed on Twitter, and they're like, block this guy.
I think the only thing worse than Liberty Hangout is Fakertarians.
Fakertarians. I'm not sure if I've seen them.
Fakertarians?
Those are the nerds who follow around like Dave Smith and Tom Woods. And
it's a type of person. Okay.
Yeah, but it's an account too, and they may have a podcast. I don't really know, but Yeah, they're the ones who, anytime you see these guys post, they go on to say something about how they're a Nazi or a racist or whatever.
Okay, yeah. Yo, the racism watchdog is pretty annoying.
Oh yeah,
you
the
ever
woof
seen
thing.
Yeah, the one that just goes woof woof. I'm like, dude, imagine like all your life, like every choice you made in your life, right? You're a little kid, you go through all of these fucking trials and tribulations, and then bam, you end up one day you're the fucking admin of that Twitter.
Right.
Like, like what a nightmare.
Or worse yet, the
Which god
account
did you
on
piss
Twitter.
I know.
The account on Twitter right now that's pretending to be Joe Biden's dog.
Oh God.
Like, how does this exist?
Well, first off, I want to take a moment to thank my buddy Chris, who's a little bit off screen here, who was kind enough to let me do the shit here. He's waving. There he is. Yep, he's the other 6-string wizard in Whiskey Grenade. He's a great dude. But I showed him that Twitter account, and he was just like speechlessly disgusted. Like it was
Correct response.
It's like
that is a morally correct reaction to that.
What's that?
And I don't shut the fuck up.
Yeah. No, it was. I showed him the post after like the fucking Joe Biden's dog like bit somebody or whatever.
Oh Lord.
I don't know.
It nipped at a Secret Service agent. But also, does anybody remember that story that Joe Biden slipped and twisted his ankle? And part of that story, if you read the article, was that he did it trying to pull his dog's tail as he was getting out of the shower. And these
I heard something of this.
Coincided with him trying to pull his dog's tail as he tried to get out of the shower. So senile is the best of circumstances if you're trying to explain that.
Yeah, because it's like he's either senile or he's a party animal. And I don't think he's a party animal. You're like I might do that like if I'm partying. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm getting out the shower, time to pull that dog's tail. And like, you know, I don't know. But like if he's senile, like that makes a lot more sense.
Yeah.
Right. And then he, you know, so I'm glad the dog has gotten away. It probably like
that dog took out his anger on somebody. It was like, pull my fucking tail.
He was trying to suicide by cop, and it didn't work out for him.
But yeah, Alex, what's funny, which by the way, if you don't know him by name, his Twitter handle is @AcidDropOSY, which is the correct way to say it.
My man, thank you.
Guys are aware.
Thank you for clarifying.
Because OSY stands for Orange Sky Youth. Here's some information. I mean, this is clear in the air. But when I told Jessica that I'd asked you to come on, and I mentioned the Wood Chipper Go Burr song, she was like, "Oh yeah, that sounds cool." But she just told us right before this that she's never actually heard it. Right. So I thought this would be a good time to introduce that original Twitter video that Dana Lash liked of yours, so that people could see it. So I'm going to play that now.
This is for you, Dana.
Wood Chipper Go Burr, yeah, it's not that hard. I would love to hit a pedophile driving in my car, helicopter ride, 'cause it's clear outside. Today we'll do some research, can these pedophiles fly? Or will they splat upon the solid pavement? They are not human, and they are not worth saving. Let's return to sanity, this shit is not okay. And I don't fucking know when all this shit became this way. There shouldn't be need for revolution. Fucking bullet, a cheap enough solution. They want to take away that spark of life. That brief time in a lifetime, everything just seems alright. You're all corruptors, deserve the worst. And I will be disgusted till we purge you from the earth and watch you splat upon the solid pavement. 'Cause you're not human and you are not worth saving. Let's return to sanity, this shit is not okay. And I don't fucking know when all this shit became this way. There shouldn't be need for revolution. One fucking bullet, a cheap enough solution.
Yay!
That guy has moxie.
Yay!
what's funny, and Ryan will
It brings
pick up
me
this
so much
joke
joy.
better than anyone else, is there's a guy that's been in our circles and in our groups for a number of years named Shane. And the joke is that Shane's the worst. And so when that came out, I saw it and I was like, this shit's hilarious. And I sent it to everyone in that group and I said, this is the Shane that we deserve. So
that's fucking awesome.
Shane, this is to you. But yeah.
They just shoved Shane out of a moving car, is what they just did. Shane's
Get
heart
lost,
is
Shane.
splattered on the side of the road.
It hit that solid pavement. So yeah, that was my first introduction to you, and I was like, we're doing an episode talking about this cuties thing because it's
Totally.
the thing to talk about. And I was like, dude, can I throw that as my outro at the end of the episode? And you were like, yeah. I was like, okay, we're friends now. I hope you know that.
Yeah.
I hope you realize that.
That's exactly what happened with that's exactly how it happened with Josh Smith with the break the cycle shit. It was just, he's like, I need intro from music for my podcast. I'm like, all right. Fuck it. I got you.
That guy laughed at one of my jokes, and if you laugh at one of my jokes, you're my friend. That's it. Like,
Yeah.
I'm after you forever for laughs after that.
But yeah, so that's the thing. Like, the internet is, you're a musician. You have a band called Whiskey Grenade, which is, I do have a question. Do you just really love Scotch and you go with the original spelling of whiskey because of Scotch, or what was that decision?
All right. So the very simple initial answer was that I wanted to draw one less letter when I was designing the logo. And so I took out the E, and then, but then I was like, if you take out the E, it spells Whiskey, like Orange Sky Youth. So I'm like, that's the connection that I meant, but it really wasn't. But going forward, I might lie about that.
Yeah, that's the original way to spell whiskey. It didn't get an E in it until the Irish started making whiskey, and they wanted to differentiate themselves from the Scots.
I actually learned that fact like maybe last year or something, because I saw a lot of people were spelling whiskey like Key, and I'm like, fuck, did I fuck it? And then I was like, I already got the Twitter handle, like shit, like, and then and thankfully both are acceptable. So
Yeah.
And
also it also makes you sound like you really love whiskey.
yeah. Like I'm really an aficionado. It turns out, I don't just buy nips at the liquor store.
But the internet and social media is an amazing place if you're looking for music. Like, I mean, even TikTok has some interesting music on right now. I found this song, I think it was yesterday, and I was like, this is good music. These are real people making real music, and I want to play this song for you, and I want to get your honest reaction to it, okay? Because you're a musician,
Sure thing.
I'm not. What do I know? So here we go.
Look at this stuff. Isn't it neat? Competent leaders getting us back on our feet. The American Rescue Plan, it has almost everything. A year into this mess, recovery unfolds. How many wonders can one rescue plan hold? Reading it over, you'd think, really? No Republicans voted for this thing. It's got direct relief to American families. It's got a path to
Reminds me of
reopen
somebody.
our schools. Cost of childcare? Tax credits, baby. It's like they care. It's a big deal.
That's all I can handle.
Okay. So right after that, in the mix, the vocals are a little forward. They get points deducted because for biting and not creating their own original like music. The music was stolen, so that's creativity deducted. It subverted my will to live, which sometimes the best art does that. Sometimes the best art makes you want to just take an ice pick and stick it right here, like where the eye kind of meets the nose there. And
The bottom.
yeah. And sometimes you just want it to stop. And you know, if that's what they're aiming for, I would say they nailed it.
I like that. People want art to make them feel good all the time, and I'm like, that's not the point. The point is that you're having an emotional reaction, and sometimes it's bad.
Oh no, that was darker than any metal album I've ever heard. Like that kind of that was like Bajas on fucking on Satan heroin or something. I don't know.
Wow.
I think that
Horrifying experience.
that is easily like the best evidence and explanation for my hatred of liberal white women that could ever be seen and ever be created. So I wanted to share that with you, and I also wanted to bait and switch your asses. So you're welcome.
Well,
That is
it was
the most cursed thing.
It's terrible. I hate it. Thank you.
So here's one of the things that is coming up in conversations more and more. And I talked to, do you know Nick Pacone from, we used to be Sounds Like Liberty. Now it's Peace Freaks.
I know the name. I'm not sure if I'm fully familiar now.
We had him on the last episode, and we had a little stint on ska and punk, which I think is just fascinating because, I've been saying since I was a kid that punk is dead. Because, I mean, if you look like, I think recently, and that's what I told Nick, because we talked about ska a lot, because he talked about a documentary that I should watch about ska, but can't tell you what it was called. But no, I was on TikTok because I'm hip, and when I was scrolling through, there was this little like non-binary looking chick that was like, punk is not dead. I know what punk is. I studied punk in college. I took classes on punk, and I'm like, God, bitch, it's dead. It's dead as hell.
Dead. Yeah.
The thing is, it's like, it's like what really sucks, and is it like there is this whole fucking there's like a get the most punk rock shampoo you can find. Get like everything is punk. You can find anything that's like there's a punk rock fucking like that is all to be disregarded. Yeah. But like the actual act of like fucking just like young stone teenagers getting together and shittily playing their instruments and writing songs about cool shit, that's always going to be alive. And like I think that's exactly what we got to look out for, and that's what the real shit is. There's obviously like a lot of confusion out there about like the sort of politics of things. Everyone says that every punk band is super left leaning and stuff like that, which is certainly true to like in almost every single way. You know what I mean? And it's a weird discussion to be had, but at the same time, you shouldn't really be getting your politics from punk rockers. No, well, and that's the thing. Like, if you look at punk over the ages, like I think it was, I don't know if it was Jessica or someone else who called Tom Morello punk, and got a lot of pushback from that. Like, someone said Rage Against the Machine. And there was some pushback, but about that being punk at all. But like all of these different like people, what they consider punk, they're all these uber leftists. But it's like, in my mind, when I think of punk, I do think of the old anarchists and the people who left or right, they wanted to just kind of say screw you to the system, and so they had tattoos and shirts with the SS bolts on them and swastikas, because they weren't saying they were Nazis, but they were saying, you know what, stick this in your eye. I'm gonna there was a lot of they were like the original edgy boys and stuff when you couldn't do it on the internet and you had to like get a bunch of shirts made or like start a band called like Stormtroopers of Death or whatever. But like it's just like I know exactly what you're saying, where it's like what I always liked about punk was they were very supportive of like gay rights and stuff, and like actual standing up for minorities, anti-racism and stuff, and all that shit was cool. But there was also a lot of people who were like just like no government and stuff like that. And I think a lot of people kind of like have become misguided and stuff like that, or don't know that some of their beliefs lead to more just like state fucking taking over their lives and like just like pushing your will onto others and stuff, so to speak. But then others people conflate that to be like, I don't know. Everyone's all confused and angry and just seeing past each other and shit.
I think that's true.
when I say that punk is dead, I don't mean it in the sense of like, because I look at you and I know punk isn't dead. You know? Like I know people who are very punk rock. I mean, some punks that I know are like digging gardens in their backyard and homeschooling their kids, and you know, it's still alive. But it's like when people say punk and when they reference it, and when I say it's dead is when they're doing that real corporate, progressive, very, I don't know, sanitized punk. Like, I mean, like I don't have any ill will towards Reliant K, but the fact that people called that punk was a little surprising to me.
Yeah. Like it's kind of weird when I was younger and stuff. Like I really I listen to a lot of cool shit and stuff, but I also listen to like say Newfound Glory and stuff like that, and stuff like stuff I don't listen to now. But back then I didn't like Minor Threat, and now I'm like old and angry and just like I fucking you know. And now I listen to like a bunch of like you know, sometimes Bad Brains. Yeah, Death Cab for Cutie. I got really fired up and shit. One thing. What is it? In defense of Smash Mouth, on some real shit. On their first album, dude. If anybody listening, look up the song "Beer Goggles," and that song is actually like a certified fucking punk banger, in my opinion. It sounds like Lagwagon to me. Like it's cool.
I'm gonna have to look that up because the Smash Mouth grew in the eyes of the public through Shrek. And so it's like, you know, we all know that song, but I don't know if anyone besides you knows any other song they've ever done.
That's the only one I know, though. I only know that one. I know Walking on the Sun, Now I'm a Believer, which is a cover, fucking All Star, and Beer Goggles. I think that's the four I know.
I know All Star.
Yeah, All Star.
That's the one that I know. Yeah.
You don't know Walking on the Sun?
I do. I also know Walking on the Sun. Yeah.
I don't. Yeah, know
that's
you're a little younger, aren't you? Than I am, Cam.
I'm 32.
Years. You're 32. Oh, you're significantly younger than I am. I'm 37. Baby. Yeah. So he might not remember Walking on the Sun, but I remember Walking on the Sun.
Yeah. I think that came out the same year as Ixnay on the Ombre by The Offspring.
I think. Dude, I loved The Offspring.
That was my shit when I was younger.
They were one of the most fun shows, like live shows that I've ever been to was The Offspring. But the most fun live show I've ever been to is Motley Crue. Because the audience that went to Motley Crue was just as entertaining as the band was. Like these people.
That would have to be the case.
Yeah. Oh my God. It was so much fun. All these people climbed right back into the Wayback Machine and went back to their former 1980s glory. And the stench of the hairspray was overwhelming. Like, yeah, it was great. It was a great time. But also their stage show was really good.
Do you remember if they did Livewire?
I don't think so. It was when the circus. It was when the circus one came out. But Tommy Lee flew. It like they had him doing that at the show in Vegas, and then they carried that on the road with them. So I was really excited to see that because it's kind of like a acrobatic thing where he flies up to the drum set in the sky and then he like hits it up there for a while. So
I know somebody who went to that.
Yeah.
I think maybe my favorite live show was do you know Mute Math? Do you ever listen to Mute Math? Nah. Look up Mute Math, but not their albums, their EP. I can't remember the name of their first EP, but they have a song called Reset, and it's instrumental. And the whole time, the coolest thing about that was, first off, Paul Meany, the lead singer, is just like one of those super energetic dudes and very charismatic. But in the middle of this instrumental song, first off, the drummer duct tapes the headset to his head before he starts really going at it, and then Paul Meany just rips the cover off of his keyboard. It's like a Rhodes or something, and he starts banging on whatever the hell is on the inside of that, and making music by just hitting some random ass part of his piano. And it's just like there are all these little things, and I'm just like, oh God. But yeah, the song, I think the song's called, I think it's the Reset EP. I think the name of the song is Reset. I would recommend listening to
That's
that.
I
awesome.
like how you said. I like how you said look up Mute Mouth, but not their albums.
Yeah.
Not their albums.
Chaos is a good album, but like that was one of those where the EP, their first EP, was better than anything else I listened to.
Right.
So yeah, just focus on the Reset EP.
All right, will do. I wrote it down on my phone. I'm gonna check it out.
So what's funny is when I was last night, I after we talked to Thaddeus Russell, I was sitting here and I was like, I haven't made the art for this episode with Alex yet. I haven't come up with a title, and I'm just sitting there and I'm just like, you know what? I'm just gonna feel this shit out, and I'm gonna just make something based on kind of the feeling that you get from Alex.
It's based and feeling pilled.
It's feeling pilled. It's not Ted pilled.
I like that.
Based and feeling pilled.
But yeah, no. So I found this really psychedelic, because your name's Acid Drop. I found like a psychedelic skull and threw our stuff on it, and I was just typing random shit into the title. And I used the word psychonaut at one point. I had a bunch of different titles. And then when I finally kind of landed on this one, which is Lucid Nightmare Pirate, I sent it to you. And I was like, I don't, because I'd said, I'm going to start making stuff up. If it's too gnarly, I'm sorry. I'm just going out of it kind of free form. And you were like, dude, I've been lucid dreaming since I was 12. This makes perfect sense.
Yeah.
I kind of want to talk about lucid dreaming now.
All right. I'll tell you what, like, my weird dream shit. Another funny thing real quick. The name Acid Drop has become less and less relevant. Like, that used to be my rap name and stuff. I used to be in a rap group for like a long ass time and shit. And that was also a misconception, because I used to rap under that name before I had ever done acid, and it was named after the skateboard trick, not the acid. Okay. And so, like, it's just I'm just a series of fucking misconstrued information. But no. So anyway, yeah, lucid dreaming, it's crazy. Like, I've been doing that shit since like I was hold on, you need a pick? Yeah. Sorry, handing guitar picks. So since I was like 12, I started like lucid dreaming and shit, right? And so a reoccurring phenomenon is I end up basically in a dream world version of my hometown of Brockton, but like the sky is always orange, hence OSY, Orange Sky Youth. And so like it's just like my hometown, right? But it's a little bit different. But it's a little bit different in the exact same way every time. Like, there's places I can go in that dream world that I can't go to when I'm awake because it doesn't exist in this world. And it's not as deep as it sounds. But it's like there's a place behind my old elementary school where there's just like mad woods, and then there's like freight trains laid up, and I used to, like, strangely enough, I use a lot of my lucid dreaming time to go out writing graffiti. I have a lot of graffiti dreams, as strange as that sounds. And I think I very seldom have nightmares, because if for some reason like zombies come, I'm just always like, yo, it's a dream. I'm gonna just either bounce from here or just have the necessary weapon to destroy them, and I carry on. And so I don't know. Dreaming's always been a weird thing for me. I didn't know it was called lucid dreaming until I was like 18 or whatever.
Did you have a moment where like the awareness of it clicked on for you, and was there something that triggered it?
I'm not really sure, to be honest. Like, I can't really recall like there being like a voila moment or something, but like it's just something it's just almost sort of just like a thing that happens regular. Like, and sometimes it won't happen for like mad months, like 8-9 months or something. Oh, shit won't happen. But like, typically speaking, like, it's at least once or twice a week. And I don't know, it's pretty cool. It's inspiring.
It's really interesting that you can bounce away from the nightmare elements of dreams, because I also enjoy my cannabis, and like many cannabis smokers, I don't remember my dreams. But the ones that I do remember, the ones that seem to be able to break through are nightmares and terrifying dreams. And the ability to like run away from a nightmare sounds like a magical power to me, because I have almost exclusively zombie nightmares. Yeah, no, that's for real. Whenever I dream that I remember dreaming, it's a zombie nightmare, almost always. Or falling, sometimes falling. Yeah.
The zombie ones I can handle, right? But I'll tell you, like, I had this one nightmare that was fucked. It was just like darkness. It was like darkness and empty. It was like the bad guy from Neverending Story. It was just like fucking like it was just like the all encompassing nothing, dude. It was just like woof, woof. It was just getting closer and closer. Oh, actually, I have this really funny one, dude. I just thought of this. I don't mean to like hog the conversation, but you'll love this. You'll love this. So one night I had a dream, right? And I come to in this dream, and I'm just like in a black void, right? And it's just empty, and it just feels heavy around me, like it is dread. And I'm like, what the fuck? And I see a figure like way off in the distance, and I'm getting closer and closer. I can kind of hear the sounds. And as I'm getting closer, right, it's a British Juggalo rapper with the high pitched voice who's like body bagging me. He's just like rapping against me. He's like, I got a high voice like this, blah blah blah, but I'm saying shit that's touching your soul. And it's like I felt like my soul was being ripped from my body. I was like, ah! It was horrifying.
I can understand why someone might manifest a juggalo for something that would like rip your soul out of your body. That makes complete sense to me.
I'm cool with mad juggalos. Nah, not so much, right? But like, I'm cool with many juggalos, and my old rap group, we used to play shows with lots of juggalos and stuff. I opened for Isham. We opened for Potluck and stuff like that. You know what I mean? I opened for Afro Man.
Oh, cool.
Just random shit like that. But yeah, right. And we used to play like, a lot of shows with like juggalo type rappers and shit, and you know, like they're very cool people, and it was just like, you know, I'll always stick up for that community because they're always down to smoke blunts with you. They don't cause like a ton of trouble for the most part. You know what I mean? Like, I'm like, hey, you know,
they just want to look really, really terrifying.
And they don't fucking understand magnets.
That's fine.
Yeah, I mean, but who does? I could pretend I understand magnets. I you know, I'm just like something like ions or whatever.
Well, I've never seen a juggalo in the wild, but that's just because I keep an eye out for Faygo bottles, and if I see a Faygo bottle, I'm gone.
Yeah. Just in case. Like it could be a family with Faygo, but you don't want to risk it.
You don't want to risk that.
That's scary because I've never seen a store that sells Faygo. So if you see one, you're like, where did that come from?
They started selling it around here, I think. In some places you can get Faygo.
Why do I live in a small town? We don't get a lot of stuff out here. So.
Save-A-Lot got Faygo? Yeah, you can, everybody, free plug if you live near Save-A-Lot in Massachusetts, you can get Faygo.
You can get Faygo. All right.
You know who I think I think should be a juggalo, but for some reason isn't? Is Guy Fieri.
Oh yeah, I mean, I see that.
With the paint, he does look like Violent J. You know, I mean, I've seen the meme and shit. Like, but yeah, I think he got what it takes. He's got the flavor. Like, if you change it to like Flavor Town or something, you know what I mean?
Yeah. And
like, you know, I think it'd be cool. And like the O in Flavor Town has like a fucking axe going through it or some shit. I think it could work.
It's a head. It's like a beheaded head.
Yeah. Ryan, if you're seeing this, take down Guy Fieri's email. We got to send him this.
What I love is that I just used the dumb version of his last name because apparently everyone says Fieri.
Yeah.
But a couple of years ago, there was some article out and they were like, it's Fieri. And
Fieri,
since that point, I think it's so dumb sounding that I use it. I know he probably prefers it, but I think it sounds so dumb. Like, how does that work?
Yeah. I mean,
a D out of an R.
The way I pronounce his last name is akin to rolling a D20 dice, and like right before I'm about to say it, I roll the dice, and who knows what I'm gonna say.
Yeah. So Wikipedia has it as Ferry, Ferry. Guy.
No way, that's not right.
Yeah, well,
it's F-I-E.
The spelling
phonetically
is correct. Phonetically, they have F-E. It's Ferry. Yeah.
Like, okay. Well, fuck it.
The boat. Yeah. So Guy Ferry. Well, we're not saying Wikipedia is right. We're just saying that's what Wikipedia says. That's the whole.
No. Wikipedia is right. I trust it. Every time somebody goes in there and changes the info, it's canon.
Yeah, so that's fair. That's a fair way to live.
Let me make sure that I'm talking to my people real quick. I have a test. Okay, so you see an image on Twitter or Facebook, and it's a moving image. and the end of that image is .gif.
Yep.
How do you pronounce that?
Honestly, most of the time I do say GIF, but if I'm feeling saucy and want to engage in the conversation, I'll say GIF. And I'm like, well, the creator wanted it as such. But most of the time I say GIF just to like keep things moving because I don't want to fucking deal with it.
Well, it's a GIF. Like
it's a
we
GIF.
need to get into the argument, but it's like, you know, Jessica will talk about how once art leaves the artist, then it's up to the masses or to the individual. The art is theirs, and it means to them what it means to them, and that's why I refuse to let the creator of the GIF call it a GIF. That guy can fuck himself.
Yeah, no, I mean,
not just art, but language too. Like it's you know.
I think there's like a tipping point. There's a tipping point, and the Honorable Judge Gary Busey is the fulcrum.
So let me ask you this: how much do you love the band Creed and Scott Stapp?
About as much as I like pedophiles.
Did you have a point in your life where you liked Creed, though, like most every other person, before they changed their mind?
Now, when I was younger and stuff, it still wasn't really quite my way. In fact, I think by the time Creed came out, I had already heard like Pennywise and shit. So, but yeah, no, there was never like a point where I like fuck with Creed really. But I remember when they came out and shit.
Well,
no, but I also remember when they weren't. I also remember when they weren't like universal. They weren't like seen by the world as like the shittiest band ever and stuff. I remember when they were like a new band that were out. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Back before Children Don't Stop Dancing.
Scott Stapp is the best.
The other one, like, the only Nickelback song I can remember liking was when I was a child and watching Spider-Man 2, and there was a special Chad Kroeger song in Spider-Man 2, and I liked it because I liked Spider-Man, which now, I'm going to say something controversial. Going back, those Sam Raimi Spider-Men suck. They do not hold up. I do not choose to watch them anymore.
Yeah, no, it's been fucking ages since I've seen any of that shit, so I'll trust your judgment. I'm assuming it probably isn't one of those things, especially now that, like, as we were, like, kind of discussing, like, I don't remember if we were streaming or not, but, like, they kind of nailed down, like, the superhero movie formula and got it to, like, an elite sort of level of, like, being able to generate interest and keep storylines moving and shit that I imagine that shit kind of looks like PS2 graphics, like, you know what I mean? So to speak, metaphorically.
I think really, part of what it was, there are a lot of reasons. I can talk about comic books. I know that Jessica doesn't love it, but here's the deal.
I enjoy comic books. I do not like comic book movies. That's a different thing.
Let's talk about how everyone says that Tobey Maguire is the best Spider-Man there was, and that's not true.
Who says that?
So many people.
Who says that? Oh my!
I've seen it said. In fact, I like from the discussions that I've like caught wind of, it seems to kind of be consensus. Everyone's like, Tobey Maguire is the real Spider-Man.
It's kind of like when people say Michael Keaton is the real Batman. Like Michael Keaton was a good Batman. He was one of the better.
Christian
Batman.
Bale is the real Batman.
That's what I'm saying.
So I forgot that Kirsten Dunst was in this movie, and she is the actress that I hate most on the planet. So
Besides
I
Mandy
have to.
Moore.
No, I don't mind Mandy Moore so much. Not so much as I mind Kirsten Dunst. Like, I really don't like her. I don't know what it is. It's not even like her fault. Like, I've never met her. I'm sure she's a nice person, but something about her like grates my personality, and it's probably her acting.
So I was a child when I saw Spider-Man 1 and 2. I mean, it came out in 2003. I mean, I was not a small child, but I was a kid. And
I was in high school by then. You're so young.
But I'm only 5 years younger than you. But I was a kid, and I watched that movie, and at that point in my life, seeing what looked like 30-year-old people walking around a high school didn't mean anything to me. But it's like watching it now, it's like these are old people pretending to be high schoolers. This is fucking bizarre.
Especially on the flip side, like now that I'm an adult and you see like a high school student, that's a kid. A high school student's a fucking kid, dude. Like, you know, I didn't think that when I was in high school.
Right.
But like, you know what I'm saying? It's like you go back like that. Yeah, that's straight. That's a fucking child right there, dude. You know?
Yeah. That's like that scene where God, what's his old face? He walks in with the skateboard and he's like, "How you doing, fellow children?"
Oh, Steve Buscemi.
Steve Buscemi, yeah. But he's like, not only is he like an adult, he's like a freakish looking adult. So
Yeah.
it adds to the horror of it.
Let me nerd just a little bit though. The other thing about, because I think that these characters, Batman, Spider-Man, all of this, they break down to their essential character. And when you look at Spider-Man, he's typically young if he's not older. But beyond that, he's a very quippy dude. And he has some sadness, but he's like a sarcastic little shit. That's the character. And it's like, sure, what's his name? Tobey Maguire played a fine Peter Parker, but he was not a Spider-Man. That dude couldn't sling a joke at all. And then there was Andrew Garfield, who was a shitty Peter Parker and a pretty good Spider-Man.
Which one was Andrew Garfield? Is he the Spider-Man in the new movies or whatever?
He's the one in the transitional movies that sucked.
Oh, that's why I don't remember him. Okay,
Spider-Man.
yeah, I not okay. It's ringing a bell. Okay, I got you.
Like he was a good Spider-Man, not a good Peter Parker. But this new kid, he does both well. It's like, in my opinion, if you're playing Batman, you have to play three characters. You have to play Batman, you have to play Bruce Wayne, and you have to play fake-ass billionaire Bruce Wayne. And Christian Bale is the only one I've seen that actually does it.
Yeah, I agree. He does that really well.
So,
I am currently being horrified by the internet as I scroll through the images related to Spider-Man 2, and there is a lot of fan fiction about Peter Parker and Harry Osborn, and it's called Parksborn.
What?
And it is horrifying.
It's like a whole thing.
It's
That's
like a whole,
weird.
there's a lot of it. Parksborn, and it's Peter Parker, Harry Osborn fan fiction. Yeah, that's out there. Wanted you to know.
Well, the other night I did it. I don't. It doesn't happen often, but once in a while you do a Rule 34 check. You just think of a random thing and be like, it'd be like blah 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 Rule 34, and
You're not supposed to check.
no, sometimes you gotta check it. Like I remember the first time I ever did it, I'm kind of fucking. I'm a retard and shit. Like
if people don't know what Rule 34 is, let me explain that to the boomers that
Please
may be
do.
watching this. Rule 34 is the internet rule that if you can think of it, porn has been made of it.
And there are no exceptions.
Yeah,
there are no exceptions to Rule 34.
Not that
ever,
I found.
Ever.
It's so
horrifyingly so.
If I think of an obscure thing, right? I type in that in Rule 34, and it never fails to fucking something will come up, and I go, haha, and then like I go on my night. But
have you seen the dragons with cars? Rule 34.
I have. Yes.
That's some bizarre stuff.
Hold on, dragons.
I think I saw it in the group chat, maybe, or some shit. Like somebody, I saw it somewhere. This hell world we live in.
Duck, go that shit, soup can.
I'm doing it right now. I can't spell.
While you're doing that, I did want to mention something.
Why? Oh no.
So, the other day I was talking to the guy from Lorenzotti Italian Coffee, and I said, I want to try some of this stuff. And he said, I'll send you some. So he sent me a can of their delicious Venice blend Italian coffee. I say delicious, but I haven't tried it yet. I will grind that in the morning. But I just wanted to open it.
Do I smell coffee?
It. Yeah, man.
I smell through the microphone.
Oh, man.
That's crazy.
It does smell good. It does smell good. But this is the cool part. This is the cool part, man. If you go to their website, it's Italian. If you go to their website, lorenzotti.coffee, and type in the Mad Ones in your promo, in their promo code field, you get 10% off. So
wait, did you say 10?
10%.
No fucking way.
Yeah. You only have to pay 90% of the cost, and you just have to type in the name of this podcast.
And what's that promo code again?
It's
What's the promo
Mad
code
Ones.
again?
The Mad Ones.
Make sure you type,
LaurenZotti.coffee. Try some coffee, man. I'll give you 10% off. So there we go. The first time I've ever had someone let me push their wares.
Cheers.
And I'm very happy about it.
This is a coffee podcast now.
It's a Mormon coffee
Ice.
podcast.
Ice House,
There's
when you want to
definite-
pack a backwoods and don't want to break a 20.
Yeah.
Like, Ice
So
House.
did you see the dragons, Jessica?
So there's a lot here. Some of it is fan made, clearly.
Of course.
And there's oh god, I don't even know if I'm allowed to say this out loud on the air. It seems to be Pokemon and the Cars, the Cars
Oh.
series.
Okay.
Yeah, and then there's a dragon banging a T-top. This one has a guy falling out of the car as the dragon is banging the car.
Should we do
And
a
then
Rule
this-
34 check each week? Have someone name something and
Sweet
have you DuckDuckGo it?
This is a Christian podcast, Cam. So no, but legit.
What?
Okay, so last night Thaddeus Russell was like, "I'm the tool of the Antichrist," according to Bob Murphy, and then me and Cameron both had headaches today after talking to Thaddeus
It's
Russell.
true.
So maybe,
Oh, shit.
maybe.
It's true. I had a headache almost all day
Right. Me too.
That's
after
weird.
talking to the Antichrist.
And I never take like acetaminophen or anything like that. I try to avoid it at all costs. I took it today because I had to do the podcast. I had a bad enough headache to take pills. Like that's a bad headache.
Yeah.
So thanks,
Well,
Dad.
you know what rhymes with Thaddeus Russell is fattiest muscle, which is like, you got some muscles around your head, and it could probably like, cause headaches and shit.
Maybe so. Maybe so. It might just be the pollen too.
I'm a doctor.
You are. You look like a doctor. You look like
I am.
every doctor I've ever seen.
It's true.
Pretty much.
In the old
I'm
West.
very good. I like dancing. I'm a doctor. I like dancing.
Why did that make me think of the band Dance Gavin Dance?
Yeah, Dance Gavin Dance. I've heard one of their songs.
I haven't heard that name in years. But
How
this
do
is
I?
you
How
said
do I
that
send an
acid
image
drop.
to?
Do you want to put it on the screen, or are you?
How do
just
I put
wanting
an
me to
image
see it?
on this? I just want to put this image on the screen.
All right, hit the share button at the bottom of your screen.
Hold on. Oh, I clicked off of it. Hold on. I gotta go find it. I'm really bad at technology, you guys. Okay, what am I doing?
Okay, at the bottom of the screen,
Share?
it says share, and then hit share
Uh-huh.
screen. It'll bring up a thing. You choose the screen you're wanting to share. And I don't have it going automatically onto it, so you'll have to hit the share button on the add. You have to hit add to stream when you see the little box. There it
Add to
is.
Stream.
I got
Do you
it.
see it? Do you see this?
Oh, that's hot. Yo, get a load of this, dude. This dragon fucking totally fucking this car. Oh shit. Dude, he's going at it.
So is that his dick or is it the spoiler of the car?
I think it's red, right?
Where
It
does
is
the cum?
red.
Where do you think the cum goes?
Oh,
In the
God.
gas tank, obviously.
Never should have come.
All right, how do I end this? Okay.
Well, all right then.
Yes. Yes.
Lauren Zotti Coffee.
Promo code the Mad Ones.
Christian podcast.
Let me ask you something.
Praise Jeebus.
Your name was Acid Drop before you dropped acid, but since then, I assume you've tried acid. And have you done mushroom? Have you had mushrooms? My wife gets mad at me when I just call them mushrooms because she's like, you have to call them magic mushrooms or shrooms, and I'm like, I'm just gonna call them mushrooms. 'Cause
Yeah,
that's
yeah,
me.
yeah.
But
I'm with
let
it.
me ask you. My dad, well, I'll just tell you, my dad used to be quite the drug addict. And so he tried acid one time and he never went back. And so he was in a room full of people. And he tells me that he's sitting there and a guy across the room goes, wow. And he cups the word wow coming out of his mouth and throws it across the room. And my dad said he saw the word wow flying across the room, and he was like, I don't know if I want to do this. It's cool, but what?
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
let me ask you. Both of you have tried psychedelics, correct?
I have.
I want to know from someone other than my father. Like, walk me through a good one.
Well, just as like a very simple rule of thumb, and you know, some of this may fully apply, may not apply at all. Results may vary, etc. So acid's fun and stuff like that, and I have a lot of good times and stuff like that. And sometimes it's like a cleaner trip of sorts. But mushrooms are the ones that give me like the spiritual sort of like remember that death is okay and to love everybody sort of thing. And like the deeper epiphanies and sort of things like that. So for me personally, that's like the basic difference between those two. Now, when you first take one or the other, you first take it and you kind of feel maybe an immediate moment of like, fuck, I can't back out now. But you just kind of roll with it. And then I don't know. I personally get like spine feelings and shit like that. Like at the bottom of my spine tingles a little bit. And then usually it's my first setting change that fucking starts it. Like if I'm sitting down, I do whatever, and then like I get to use the bathroom, and I'm like, here it comes, blah blah blah.
Yeah.
And it's never like anything where you see like the word wow, or at least for me, I've never seen like the word wow thrown at anybody or whatever the fuck like that. There was sort of like it's almost like, for lack of a better term, an inside joke than anything else. But like one time we took mushrooms in the woods, and we're gonna stay out there all night. And then like halfway through, it's like, fuck it, let's bail, let's go home and smoke blunts. And then we're walking home as the sun was setting, and like it just looked almost like a prehistoric setting. Like you could almost imagine a pterodactyl going by. So we're all going like, holy shit, a pterodactyl! But none of us fucking saw a pterodactyl. You know what I mean? I didn't.
Right. Right.
Did you ever see Midsummer?
Oh my
have not.
God. I didn't know anybody else knew about that.
Well, you made me watch it this year, Jessica. It's last year.
Oh, okay. I'm glad I was responsible for that. In Midsummer, they eat a bunch of mushrooms, but it takes place in like the 13th century. So it's a bunch of English dudes from the 13th century tripping their nuts off of this field. And it's very close to my mushroom experiences. At least the visuals. Like I never saw words or pterodactyls or any large scale visual like that. Mainly when I would close my eyes, I would see patterns and colors when I would close my eyes. But most of it's in the body. And I agree with what you said about mushrooms versus acid or any other thing about the spiritual aspect of it. But not to get all Joe Rogan on it, there's also something with DMT that's a lot like that. But I found my DMT experience terrifying, so I didn't keep going back. But other people have described their experiences to me. And what I find interesting about DMT is that everybody sees the same thing. With mushrooms and acid, everybody sees whatever like their own psyche drums up for them to see. And with DMT, it seems like everybody seems to see that same set of hallucinations all the way down to like the light people. And I don't know if you've ever heard of like that end point for DMT hallucinations is seeing these beings made of light, and they're like trying to communicate with you. And you can never seem to remember what they were trying to communicate to you when you come out of the trip. But people will continuously go back trying to get that information, I guess. But me, I took one DMT experience and I was like, no, I don't want to do that anymore. So because it's the one psychedelic where you leave your body, like you are not in control of what's happening in your body. You go. And like you need to have a pillow behind you so you have something to fall back on. Like it's actually kind of a terrifying thing. With mushrooms, with acid, it's nothing like that. You're never not really in control of yourself. So mushrooms, if anyone's going to do a psychedelic experience, I recommend mushrooms for sure. I agree with you.
Or
other
smoking PCP and listen to you smoke PCP and listen to Aesop Rock.
Okay.
And then you never come back. I'm sorry, continue.
Forever.
No, I was just saying the other story that I heard about mushrooms was from this chick Andrea that I worked with when I worked at a Books A Million, because she was like the one who was eating mushrooms every night after work, and she was always like, hey, you need to try these mushrooms, and I'm like, I was a 18, 19-year-old very Christian kid, and I was like, no. And she was like, Mel, maybe it's not a good thing for you. You have to be in the right mindset. She said, my friend, he tried mushrooms. That he decided to do it in an old abandoned house that people said was haunted, and he heard and saw the headless horseman coming after him, and he ran out of there. And no one's heard from him since. I was like, okay, yeah, let's do that.
That's a bullshit story.
I have a friend. I have a friend named Carl Brown, right? And one time, he took mushrooms in a cemetery, right? And he had all these glow sticks and stuff, and he's like dancing and stuff, and his skin felt really soft. And then he went back home, and he changed his life. He got rid of the internet. He made his own fence. He wipes his greasy tools. In Carl Brown, what can you say, dude? He hasn't watched a TV show since like Family Matters.
Well,
what can you say about that?
My dad also knew a guy who took some mushrooms, climbed up into a tree, came down, and had become a Christian in the tree, and then never touched anything like that after that point.
Now, I believe that story.
That one checks out.
Did you guys see that Joe Rogan episode where he was talking to the mushroom scientist, and the guy was describing his first experience with mushrooms? He had taken them, climbed up into a tree, and the mushroom started to hit just as a thunderstorm was coming in. And he experienced the thunderstorm in the top of the tree, terrified and tripping his nuts off. And when the camera cut back to Joe's eyes were just like bugging out of his head. And I believe you could have a spiritual experience in a tree during a thunderstorm without the mushrooms. So with the mushrooms, yeah, definitely.
Makes sense.
I just wanted to highlight Joshua Smith's comment here to say, hi, Joshua Smith. Thank you for watching. Also, here's a secret thing that, you'll see the video when I make it. But your boy Joshua Smith's actually going to be joining us on the show on April 15th for Tax Day. And so we should have a lot of fun. And it's just the perfect day to have
Theft Day.
An LP guy on the podcast.
Hey.
Ex-LP guy, I guess. Sort of still LP. I don't know. We'll figure it out.
Dude, so he had a really old video of his band on his YouTube channel. And they're mad good. Mad good. Like, I was like, I don't think there's as far as I can tell, there's no other available songs or anything you listen to. But I think if you go on his YouTube channel, the Break the Cycle one, and you scroll back, I don't know if it's still up there or whatever, but it's an old ass video, and they were mad good. So I want to say shout out to that.
I'm gonna find it. It's my job. I'm a shitty Jamie. That's what I am.
Yeah, you're soup can.
Yeah, no, dude, you're killing it, man.
So speaking of, I do feel like we should throw this out there too. Did I tell you? I'm sure I told you. I know Jessica knows, but I'm sure I told you too, Alex. But we're gonna have a special guest April 7th, a week before Joshua Smith, and I made him a promo video because this is something I like to do, and he sent back after he saw it. Well, damn. Now I'm going to have to do a good show. So I figured I'd share that with the world right now. So watch this. War is hell. A hell created by men to destroy other men. War is a racket, and the beneficiaries are plentiful in this endless game of mass murder. If you name a country in the Middle East, you can find American involvement in their destruction. Afghanistan, Iraq, Iran, Syria, Yemen. We have an Encyclopedia Brown in this anti-war movement who stands to thwart tyrants and destroyers of worlds. With a seemingly photographic memory and deep understanding of the world around us, Scott Horton is the man to go to for answers. Luckily, we caught his ear, and we'll be able to find out what we might be able to do to help end the violence. Join us for a conversation with a true hero of liberty and peace.
It's pretty good.
April 7th. Scott
You
Horton
should-
will be
you-
joining us on the show.
You should have been like, Horton, here's a what? Horton, here's a world crisis. And he's got the solution.
It's the
It's a
final.
banger tweet,
No,
though,
not
man.
the final solution.
No, not that. Did I say that? I didn't even say
No.
final solution. Oh, I was gonna say.
No.
You didn't say it.
Oh, okay. I'm like, I'm saying high as shit. Like if I said that, my bad. But all right, good.
No, that was me. That was all me. And then
Imagine if, like,
Go ahead.
imagine if like the Libertarian Party had like they were like, all right, everybody, we're gonna really get things in order now. This is our final solution. Like, whoa! Everybody be like just caught off guard by the name. Like,
Or
great,
Dave-
this failed.
or if Dave Smith was like, we need to find a final solution for the loser brigade. I mean, just.
Kind of the final solution
Yeah.
to themselves, really.
Oh God. Gotta love some good Nazi jokes.
Or if there's like a skinhead record store called Vinyl Solution. And they only have like 3 Screwdriver records, and that's like it.
Oh, did you guys see that Rachel Levine became the first openly transgender federal official confirmed by the Senate?
Was it
I did not
who?
see this. Who is this?
That's okay. So I lived in Pennsylvania when coronavirus started, and so I didn't watch a lot of coronavirus news. Wasn't interesting to me. Just wanted to get away from the crazy people.
Oh,
But
I know.
if I don't know if you've ever seen this person. Her name is Rachel Levine, and apparently she was always on TV everywhere. And I kept having people say, I can't believe you have to deal with that. And I'm like, because this is not one of the good people with coronavirus. This isn't Ron DeSantis or Kristi Noem or whatever. This is one of the people who wants to see your grandparents die in a nursing home alone. But, oh wait, what was it that she did? Don't you know? Wasn't there something she did?
Yeah, she did. She pulled her own mother out of the nursing homes right before or just as the coronavirus was hitting. So it was obviously plain to her that the nursing homes were a dangerous place for her mother to be, but everybody else's parents, had to suffer and die for, the good of the cause or whatever they're going to tell themselves.
Well, that's
Yeah,
fucked.
horrible,
Yeah, so-
horrible human being.
So people kept asking me how I could deal with this person on the screen, and I was like, I moved to Florida. I don't have to see this shit.
I physically moved.
And I've told people this before, but I moved when some lady at Wawa told the cashier that she wished Governor Wolf was as strong as Andrew Cuomo. And I was like, bitches, I'm gone.
Yeah.
But yeah, so that's a little bit of news. We hit our news. We hit news, so we hit topical,
Oh,
Jessica. So
okay.
we can check that off the list.
Okay.
Yeah, that sort of fucking hypocrisy there fucking checks out for sure.
Oh yeah. Well, I do want to ask you something that's just for the boys if they listen. And we won't say too much about what this is about, but how is your EP about Norm going?
Oh, so I don't know if I'm gonna continue doing it because like I don't know if this is considered like PC or like overly sensitive, but I mean like he's not ready for like any of us. You know what I'm saying? Like, would all of us be going into his sphere of him just like previously posting his mundane life details to himself, and suddenly he has this like strange audience of people of like it must be overwhelming. And then like given like the fucking recent shootings and shit, I'm like, you know what? This is, even like and you heard it like before we started streaming. It's like a very positive song about this guy. I feel like it would still stress him out a lot. You know what I'm saying? Go ahead.
Are you guys familiar with Chris Chan at all?
No.
What the? I sort of know the name. What's that?
So Chris Chan is this weird person on the internet. Like, surprise, surprise, there's billions of them. But he in particular got sort of the attention of a bunch of trolls. And they rocketed him to fame just because he was just an extremely awkward person. And I am like death clock watching this guy until he goes off and shoots up a supermarket or something. Like seriously, because of that very reason. And like, yeah. So I don't know. I don't know why they make fun of him. He's just sort of like an awkward person who lives with his mom. But yeah, I get that general feeling that could happen if you if you make him into the targeted individuals thing. So like there's this guy Terry Davis, and he was a schizophrenic man, and he would put out all these videos.
Came from. That's
where glowies came from. The CIA, that's how you know what they are, because they glow in the dark. That was Terry Davis, and he wrote Temple OS, and he was the best programmer that ever lived, and he was obviously like a schizophrenic guy. But a bunch of trolls on the internet found this guy, and they just like drove him to the point of insanity. And I think he threw himself in front of a train. Was that guy's end? So I advise you not to Christian this guy.
We're not going to let anyone know who Norm is.
Okay.
Norm's not even his real name. I'm using a fake name that Alex knows so that we know who we're talking about, but the rest of the world doesn't. But Norm has the best way of tweeting that I've ever seen, and he does self ask me anythings.
Yeah, he does self AMAs.
Yeah, and so what the kind of the rules in the group chat are that we observe Norm. We don't talk to Norm. We don't do anything to Norm.
You neighborhood watch Norm.
Because it's so bizarre. It's like he's an MIT AI experiment out in the wild. It's incredible. But so we don't really interact with him, and anyone who does gets blocked by Norm.
They get blocked immediately.
Yeah.
Okay.
And
so that's why you have to stand back, right? Okay.
Yeah. And so you stand back, but you watch because it's so fascinating. So when he had some interaction with people, that was not bad. It was a couple of these guys just kind of said something nice. And he went on a little Twitter rant. Have I ever been an anarchist or a libertarian? No. Sometimes I feel like people are getting information about me that's completely inaccurate. Yes, I was a Republican once, but even then, I was a moderate. I'm now a moderate Democrat and plan to remain so. Am I interested in... Oh, and someone said, we'd like to discuss these kind of finer points with you of what we believe. You know, we think it'd be an interesting conversation. Follow-up tweet after he blocked that person. Am I
very cordial.
Yeah. Am I interested in discussing the merits of these ideologies? No.
No.
The final one was, do I consider people who hold these views to be my enemies? Not necessarily. However, if they feel like using force to impose their ideas about how society should function would be justified, I'd want to steer clear of them altogether. That definitely crosses a line.
Oh, Ron. How sweet. Okay, so he'll block you if you interact with him at all.
Yes.
At all.
Yes.
Okay.
So my original thought was that like if I write like 3 or 4 like decent songs that cast him in like a positive or introspective light, like what would this stranger just feel like? I like the whole just mindfuck aspect of it was appealing to me, but like I don't want to stress the guy out, dude. You know what I'm saying? Like especially because he's of that ilk where he might feel like he's being targeted. You know what I'm saying? I don't want him to feel like that, especially for me. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. My friend Zach had an interaction when one of those people out in the wild. She was sitting in his car, or he was sitting in his car, and she was going to her car, and he was sitting there eating his lunch. And she turned around and said to him, "I know who you are, and I know what you're here for." And he was like, "What the fuck?" Like he was there eating his Subway sub. He had no idea what she was talking about. He's like, "I'm sorry," and he shut his door, rolled up his window, and drove away. I'm like, that only confirmed her suspicions that you were there to watch her. Like, you should have just stayed there and finished your sandwich. She's like, she freaked me out. But yeah, so there's like a lot of just people in the wild who are like that. And it would be, it's kind to be wise that could occur.
Yeah. No,
also,
that's
please privately send me his Twitter handle so I might also observe him.
Yes. Well, I have. It's beautiful. It's so wonderful. It's
he deserves his own like channel or something.
It's great.
Yeah.
Like, you know, he's a cult of personality.
Well, and that's the thing. This is like Norm is like the epitome of the absurdist humorists what I mean. Because it's just like we happened upon this account, and it's just like every single tweet is like it's a self AMA, and he'll tell. That's the thing, he will tell you exactly where he lives, his apartment number.
Why,
He's put
Ron?
his resume up, like it's this whole thing, and it's like, and he'll name his mom by first, middle, and last name. Like it's this really super bizarre thing that's interesting to watch. But I swear to God, if anyone who's listening to this looks for him,
though?
I don't know.
Yeah,
It seems like a
so-
spook.
it seems
But-
like
but like-
like a spook, like almost a wealth, an orgy of evidence. They call that, where it's like too much evidence, like it's
Yeah.
been planted.
But
right.
but it's also like his content his tweets are also like the pinnacle of like mundanity. Like it's just like it's mundane,
Yeah,
daily. You know, like
absolutely mundane, and that's what's so wonderful about it.
So what would he be
It's
a spook
amazing.
for? Right.
he's like a new
Can't find it.
Seinfeld
It's
writer.
way too far up.
It's so good. It's and that's the thing. I think that may be
It's-
one of my favorite things about Twitter is when there's another guy named Bill. Do you remember Bill, Alex? He's made his face known in the group chat. I'm gonna have to ask Pizza to send you the picture of Bill. when we're
Okay.
done here.
Sure.
But there are these weird accounts that you find that are just like performance art without realizing they're performance art, and it's
That's the best.
beautiful. And so, so you know, he's one of those. So we think that Bill might be dead though. Like,
Oh, no.
Aw.
Bill might be dead.
Wouldn't it be crazy if like one of these guys died and then like a shit ton of people from Twitter that has just been amused at his antics just showed up at
I
the
know.
funeral? Like, we're huge fans of Bill. We've been following his Twitter.
Yeah, Bill is a treat to look at, to say the least.
That's
Actually,
awesome.
You keep the conversation going. I'm gonna try to get Pizza to find that photo for me. Give me one sec.
Okay.
Sure thing.
Also send me that dude's Twitter handle because I can't find it. It's way too far up in our private chat. But yeah,
He's a good guy.
so,
He's a good guy.
No, that's good. I'm glad you guys are like taking like a positive angle with it, because definitely with like Christian and with Terry Davis, people were not taking a positive angle with it, and like
Well, I mean,
insanity.
I'll speak for myself, and I from what I've seen, everybody else is like very cordial, and they like they I think almost the game in a certain aspects is to try to not like to interact with them but not get blocked. You know what I'm saying? It's almost like some people like
okay.
it's like people like dip in their toes and stuff where it's like I'm not brave enough for that game personally. So I just admire, you know.
Have you had any women try?
Ooh, that's a good question.
There was a fake woman that tried.
Okay. I mean, that's close.
Of course, there's a
enough.
fake woman on deck.
There are no
Yeah.
women on the internet for real though,
Yeah.
so it
Well, it
had
was
to be
it
fake
was
women.
it was
It
a
was-
gender swapped Chris Dorner.
He didn't. That wasn't his type. That wasn't his type. You should go for the
Oh,
gender
no.
swapped Bob Murphy.
That's funny as shit,
That
dude.
might be his type. Yeah.
So hopefully we can get a photo of Bill for you, but we're
Okay.
we're past that at the moment. But yeah, so Alex, I appreciate the hell out of your talent and your creativity. I find
Thank
you
you,
to
man.
be a wonderful follow on Twitter. One of the things we like to do on this show, because we live in a world filled with blue pills and black pills and red pills, but we like to take the stance of the white pill, the hope section of the world, because there are way too many nihilists
try.
out there. So let me ask you, it doesn't have to be like America. It doesn't have to be like politics. It doesn't have to be anything. It can be personal if you want it to be. But
Mhm.
what is something in your life or that you've seen that gives you hope and you think could be a hope shared with people who listen to this?
I don't. Well, I'll say something for myself, where it's like, so it's almost like a moral code. It's not quite a religion. It's nothing like that. But it's just sort of like, I had a thought that it's like, you know, through the ages, there was like cavemen who went through some fucking crazy fucking shit, who went through these crazy struggles to have a kid. They could then go on and like through the ages past, and then here you are, and shit like that. And then like the kids you have are gonna continue to do the same and shit. And it's like, you got to make your fucking mark where you can, whether that's positive or negative. And now that your mark can also just be choose to be like, I'm not fucking engaging, and I'm just gonna fucking get through my life and just do whatever I want to. And that, to me, that's kind of just as valid in some ways. And it's just like, but it's become abundantly clear to me how much like the littlest thing you can do can kind of change the world. And it can be something stupid. Like, I had a friend named Rich, and one day I jokingly called him Lord Raoul. And now, like 15, 16 years later, he goes around introducing himself to other people as Lord Raoul. And it was just like, as a stupid change as that is, you know what I mean? Like, you change the fucking world in like stupid little ways. And I guess the thing that keeps me going is the metaphorical book of life, where it's like your name will have a fucking page or whatever the fucking. It's like you gotta try to make your page like not suck,
Yeah.
Yeah.
But in terms of something I see in the world that makes me feel good, vaccines. No, I'm just kidding. No, go ahead.
Gene therapy.
Both of those things are good. They're not good when they're called the wrong thing, but both of those things are good.
I'm trying to think, like, all right, so would you rather take 5 COVID vaccines or Boof InfoWars male vitality or
Dude,
whatever?
I would snort super male vitality off of Alex Jones's boner.
Yeah. Yeah, no, imagine, like, all right, so Alex Jones fucking does a fat rail of super male vitality. Him versus a bull. Who wins?
Alex Jones would win without the super male vitality.
It would just be overkill.
Yeah. Poor bull.
But the bull would charge after because they would see his hot red American blood. You know what I'm saying?
Oh, man. So do you have any white pills this week, Jessica?
Oh gosh. Yeah, I just I'm really thrilled at how active we've gotten. And that's been a really big boon. Getting to meet so many interesting people is like a thrill for me. I'm a very social person, and I decided to move out to the middle of nowhere. There's no people out here. So it's cool to get to run into like just such a variety of individual. It's a treat for me, and it expands my universe a lot. So that's a white pill for me.
Yeah. Well, I actually thought of one, or not, maybe more practical. But when Alex was talking, he was talking about how he called his friend Lord Raoul, and it made me think about, one, there's something that people need to be reminded, and you remind them well on Twitter, Jessica, which is when someone tells you who they are, believe them.
It's one of my rules.
I think that there is, like, one of my things is to, and I don't know if anyone else has picked up on how I run, but I like to tell people who I think they are and the most positive way possible, because I think that people often hear, first off, they hear that their parents denigrating voices in their mind, which they've adopted as their own thoughts throughout their life. And they hear these things like, you're lazy, you're this, you're that, or the other. And I do think that people need to be reprogrammed from that thinking. They need to be removed from these words about themselves that aren't positive, that aren't good, that don't highlight the goodness in them. And so I think that that's something that we can do for each other, and something that we can do for not our enemies. Obviously, I'm going to tell them to believe the voices in their head. But like the people like Alex, like you, like, when I tell you something positive about yourself, if you don't believe it, it's because you're talking yourself out of it. And I think that we need to all be able to say the good things about people, and to give them the motivation to be who they really are rather than who they think they are. So I think that could be a positive thing in life.
Totally.
So, I don't know. That's just on my head, off the top of my head.
Cheers, mate.
Now I want to apologize to Kirsten Dunst for impugning her acting abilities.
She's terrible.
I'll talk shit about an actor too. I hate Alan Thicke, and I think he's dead.
He is dead. But let me
Fuck
tell you
him.
about the actor I think I
Alan
wouldn't mind
Thicke
if he
is
wasn't
dead.
alive anymore.
Who that?
Sean Astin.
Oh, yeah, we hate Sean Astin.
Yeah,
This
no,
is a
kind of
Sean
fuck Sean
Astin
Astin,
podcast.
really.
Yeah.
All right. I mean, I didn't really like. I don't like him, but I didn't hate him. But I might. Give me the elevator pitch.
The elevator pitch is that I met Sean Astin one time. And
Okay.
He rode on my motorcycle, dropped it, and then pretended that didn't happen and didn't even apologize.
Yeah, fuck
Strapped
Sean
up my
Astin,
bike.
dude.
Yeah.
What?
We are
Yep.
an anti-Sean Astin podcast. You have to know that.
We hate
I will
Sean
throw-
Astin.
Well, just let it be known. I'm gonna throw hands with him if I ever see him, dude. On your
That's
behalf.
right.
Fuck it.
Yeah, everyone else was sad when Bob Newby in Stranger Things died, and I was like, finally, comeuppance.
I'm tweeting it
Okay.
right now. Sean Astin can eat a dick.
Yeah.
Sean
Alan
Astin.
Thicke is dead. I didn't know that. So R.I.P. Alan Thicke. But why do you hate
Wait.
Alan Thicke?
Hold on, real quick. Is it Astin? Is it ASTIN?
Yes.
All right. Can eat a dick. I just want to make sure I said it.
SEAN.
What is it? Yeah, SEAN. I got that
Yeah,
part.
Sean.
I can eat a dick. 100 emoji. All right.
Oh.
All right.
I'm
I'm sorry.
gonna repeat
What was your question? Why do I hate Alan Thicke?
Yes.
I just don't like his face, his demeanor, his existence, his catalog of work, his there's one meme I saw in him that I like. But that was after he died. He had nothing to do with that except for his ugly fucking face and stupid haircut and stupid sweater. And
Sometimes
fucking
you just look at somebody
whack,
and you
whack.
know.
trash.
Yeah.
His style, trash. His haircut, trash. His movies, trash. His show, trash. All of it.
He had some game shows too, apparently.
Me, I'm tight.
So we can all agree here. Fuck Kirsten Dunst.
Yes.
Fuck Alan Thicke. But most of all, fuck Sean Astin.
Sean
You,
Astin can
Sean
eat a dick.
Astin. Yeah. 100,
All right.
100 dicks.
With that, I do think this is a good time to tie a knot on it, to tie a bow on it and show it off to the world. And I want
Can you
people
believe
to know
that
where they
Thaddeus
can find
Russell
you.
thought we
Thought
were
a Christian
conservative
podcast.
conservative Christian podcast? Sorry, go ahead.
Nope. Let's hope Lauren Zotti Coffee doesn't cancel tomorrow.
Psalm of the day.
However, that would be kind of a badass story, but don't do it, Lauren Zotti Coffee. Promo code the
So
Mad Ones.
We would brag about it, but don't do it.
It would hurt. It would hurt right here. So to find Alex on the interwebs, Twitter is Acid Drop OSY. That's with one D. So ACIDROPOSY. He has a band called Whiskey Grenade. How much of Whiskey Grenade is on YouTube right now?
Like in terms of everything I have written, like very little, but there's some shit up there. If you find my YouTube channel, it's the same as my Twitter handle, ACIDROPOSY, and you can find just random shit that I've made over the years. I've been trying to upload more stuff. Like right now, it's mostly just like me fucking around in my bedroom type shit. But like, there's a lot of fucking songs written, and just waiting for that drummer to capture our hearts to take us to the new level. We have a guy who might be playing saxophone for us. Chris here might be getting a trombone. Who knows? Maybe I'll get a girl with a CKY back tattoo.
Hey.
Oh shit.
Yeah, dude.
stars limit.
2021, man. It's a whole new world with Biden president. You know, he fell down the stairs, and that's okay.
And into our hearts.
Into our hearts, bro. One day, girl's gonna come to me and be like, and it's gonna steal my heart.
Her name's gonna be Bernadette.
Her name is gonna be Bernadette Nur.
So, besides there, if you want to meet up and hang out with Alex, all you have to do is wherever you are in the world, if you hear the sounds of ska, the beautiful music of ska, just follow that noise.
And have these.
You're gonna find him. You're gonna smoke a blunt. Maybe you're gonna get some acid. Who knows? But do that. So let me just tell you, over the next few weeks, the month of April, we have a lot of people coming on the show. It's going to be really exciting, I think. Like I said, Scott Horton, April 7th, 10 p.m. Show up for that. Next week, we have Nicole Sauce from Living Free in Tennessee. Following her, and the day before Scott Horton, we have our friend Iowa Ancap from the Flyover Libertarian podcast. After that, do you know who Mike Brancatelli is?
I don't think so.
He used to be the co-host of Part of the Problem with Dave Smith, but he has his own show, and I think he's had it for a good while, called Micadelic, where he talks about that sort of, like he loves his psychedelics. So we're gonna have him on after that, and then here's another little exciting announcement. Clint from Liberty Lockdown will be the week after that. We will have other things here and there in between that, but you'll find out those things when you find out those things. So,
absolutely.
Like I said, I will thank you again, Alex, for coming on. It's been too long, and we should do it again at some point.
I'm down anytime. I also want to give a big shout out to the big homie, Chris C. Cup in this bitch, who was kind enough to let me do this shit in his basement. And shout out to DJ Daylate, my buddy Bill, dude. Great fucking dude. Shout out to my niece Avery and everybody who donated to the GoFundMe, dude. We reached the goal. She's doing great. My niece is killing it. You know what I'm saying? We just had there was another fundraiser today and shit, dude. So like, we're going strong. And I want to thank you guys for having me on the show. Anytime, dude. I'm down now, especially now that I know my laptop works. I'm gonna be honest. I didn't check it till like about an hour before the show and shit. And like, that's why I hit you up before. I was like, oh god, does the mic work and shit?
And at first it didn't.
Good.
Yeah.
We got that, man.
You guys are awesome, man. Thank you guys so much.
Thank you.
It was nice to meet you.
Absolutely. Peace.
And so let me go through this list of places to find us, and then you'll hear our beautiful music and see the pictures of beautiful people that are coming soon. If you want to find me on Twitter, go to @CamHarless. If you want to find Miss Jessica Green, that's @SoupCanarchist. We have a locals. We need you guys in there to make it bump. I've got it at $2, which is the lowest amount you can pay. You can join us and just create a beautiful hellscape, and it'll be the most wonderful thing off of Facebook. But we need your help there. I'm not going to lie to you and tell you that we need all of these sponsors to keep going. It would help, but Jessica and I are going to do this if we never make $1.
Yeah.
We're here for the
fun,
and we're here for you guys. So don't feel like that. But if you want to join them at the locals, join the locals, themadones.locals.com. Buy a t-shirt. I will have some in the links. I'll just do the regular one in this one, but check those out. If you want to listen to it, you can listen to it directly on wearethemadOnes.com. If you're listening to this right now and you'd rather see the video and see a dragon having sex with a car, you can do that at youtube.com/themadOnes. We're also on Odyssey, so we're uncancelable. So even though there was a dragon having sex with a car in this video, it'll never be off of a library/Odyssey. Sean Astin is a fuckboy. Yes.
That's right.
We have many other shows. We have
with
5.
a hard Y.
We have 5 shows on our little MLGA network. Techno Agorist, thank you for your servers. Voluntary Vixens, Lesbertarian, this show, and don't forget the Morning Drive with David. That's a good dude, and I wouldn't know Jessica without David. Beyond that, right. Thank you to Lauren Zotti Coffee, laurenzotti.coffee. Throw in a promo code of the Mad Ones, get 10% off. But beyond that, I've appreciated doing this. I've enjoyed this. Again, every week, thank you, Jessica. Thank you, Alex. And as always, you rat bastards, you beautiful jerks, live the life you want to live and do it the way you want to do it. And if anyone ever tells you differently, tell them to go to hell.